It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker. This is Scott's number 9 speech, which uses visual aids. He is now practicing flexibility since his projector is no more. It will be a whiteboard presentation. Scott Shire is a certified financial planner. He is also a recovering engineer who enjoys researching investments. Last month, he told us about a unique investment called a structured note. Today, he is going to tell us about another unique investment, one that gives us guarantees with potential. Here it is, Scott Shire.
So there's no point in having notes because they're all going to come off the slide. I think about, like I talked about last month, you look around in our environment and it's kind of crazy. You wonder, why would people want to go and borrow some money and go invest in the market? Because you don't know when it's going to blow up next. It seems like one day, there's a Bernie Madoff running off with billions. The next day, there's banks imploding. There's just all kinds of craziness out there. So no wonder people are heading to banks, places where they get federal government guarantee and wanting to be as safe as possible, not sure what to do. It's like, just blanked out on the old country philosopher I loved his phrase, it's not so much the return on my money, but the return of my money that concerns me. So with that, many people are going to the banks, but what are banks giving us these days if you get a CD? I put Dan on the spot, but yeah, he holds up one finger.
1.3 if you're lucky.
Ooh, okay. That's generally my experience too. Your 1, 2, 3, 5-year CDs, you're getting between 1 to 2%. Not terribly much to get excited about, but it is guaranteed. It's a little bit better than stuffing it under the mattress. But what if, we're going to do the what if scenario again, what if you had a bank that would be willing to give you 1%, but with the potential to make 7%, all while it being FDIC insured. I happened to find a bank that was doing that. JP Morgan, and each month it's interesting how banks come in and they want to be aggressive. They want to get your attention. JP Morgan is doing that this month. And they're willing to offer you that 1% per year payout, FDIC insured, while you have the potential to make 7% in the stock market. And that 7% comes from 10 stocks that are all from the S&P 500, big multi-billion-dollar companies like Amazon, Wells Fargo, Whole Foods, Newmont Mining, big gold stock, and a variety of others from a variety of industries. But how they work it is kind of interesting. And this is where VID00003 really come in handy, especially when they were pre-done on slides. But if you started off in year 1, and actually start off in year 0, and you've got your 10 stocks, and they go up, because I'm going to go with the assumption that we're going to first start with an up year, because Ken Fisher, who's a really good market prognosticator, he's been out there predicting the markets for years, and he generally picks the 2 areas that no one's predicting, and he says that's where the market's probably going to go. And he's been right on the money for several years now. And he says next year is going to bring us 17% returns. Okay? So let's say he does that, and he's right, and we get 17% returns. Well, on this note, though, it says the max you can get is 7%. So we're down here, and that's 7% per stock. So you've got 10 stocks up here from 1 through 10. Each one is capped at 7%. Not too bad. And you're going to get a 1% minimum payout every year out through 7 years. It is a 7-year CD, so it's a little bit out there. 7% though in today's environment with the principal guaranteed, not too bad. But we look at each of those 10 stocks to see how have they performed, and then we add them up and divide by 10, and your coupon is actually the average of all of those 10 stocks. So you'll have a bunch that might be, there might be some in there that are 1%, 5%, 17%, which gets docked down to 7. So anywhere from 2, 7, 5. And you might have some that are actually went down negative. Well, the negative part is limited to no more than a negative 30%. So you could have some that are there a negative 10, no worse than a negative 30. And you add all those up, divide by 10, that average is your coupon payment. Well, it doesn't change each year. They're looking at the cumulative return of what the stock has done, of that pool of stocks. The interesting thing, why I really like this approach for you, is that hopefully, we're in America, long term, we should do well. There might be some short-term cycles in here, but after 3 to 4 years, we go through what's called a normal business cycle. And most stocks, after 3 to 4 years, are gonna be back above where they were. Even if they have some bad times, because of the business cycle, they'll be back into a positive mode for their industry. And as long as you're getting into the positive range, especially after 3 to 4 years, you should be getting that 7% coupon. If you have one that's bad, the worst it can be is a negative 30% when adding up your averages up here. Have I thoroughly confused you all yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't my objective. That was the wrong answer. Darn, because I didn't take you to the next level. What's that? Anyhow, for me, as a recovering engineer, this is exciting stuff. I get into this. I even take it then to the next level, because JP Morgan took it to the next level. And they said, hey, what if you don't really need that 1% each year? What if you were willing to accept 0.5%? If you do that, they'll cut the downside limit to a negative 15%, so that's the worst case any stock can have, and they'll increase your upside to 7.5%. That's pretty cool. Well, you're still getting at least 0.5% a year, FDIC insured. Not too bad. Same out of 10 stocks from Amazon to Wells Fargo, et cetera. And then let's take it one step further, because I don't know about you, but I'm kind of greedy. I like all the money I can get. And so let's say you don't need any guarantee. You're willing to accept no annual payment. You want to get it, you want more potential each year. They'll increase this to 9.5%, and it's a digital return, which means anytime the stock is positive, you automatically get the full 9.5%. Pretty cool. Goes back to a minus 30% on the downside when adding them up for each year. I've already gone too far. That's why you call me afterwards, and we sit down and we go over things. That, along with everything else in the world, because my goal is I want you all to sleep at night. I want you to have the peace. If you're worried about losing money, bring this up with your current financial advisor or come talk with me, and we'll help you to get to a place where you don't worry about what's blowing up, what's being destroyed in the marketplace, who Bernie Madoff is talking to now, because you know your money is secure and you can have peace, guarantees, and potential. Thank you.